Thank you for that. I totally forgot to turn off my mic again, or turn on the mic again. So, yeah, we're so just to just give kind of a refresher. Basically, what we're going on here, we are going to be looking at this very crude crime scene I put together. It's just the exact recreation of the crime scene that, yeah, unfortunately. So basically, what's kind of going on here is I crudely created this. I wanted to make it colorful so that way people can actually identify things a little bit easier. You'll notice that there's some weird looking like droplet patterns over here. Those are footprints, so I do apologize for this. I'm having to do this with the mouse. Not as slick as I am with like the pen. So, but I once again I got the exact body positioning directly what the BC, what was it? The BCA crime scene showed off in their PDF. So two of them are Kamel and David were headless, yes, when found. Now keep in mind this was labeled as, yeah, exactly. This was labeled as a double homicide, a single suicide. Now when we look at this, the really weird thing about this as well is it's a little cheesy, but yes, I get you. So basically what ended up happening here was there's a few different theories kind of going around. Most people actually do believe that it was somebody they knew, but they had murdered them. And there's a lot of data, especially when looking at the crime scene, to kind of point in that direction. Not entirely. I can't fully say yes, there's not any evidence here that just kind of shows, he could have easily done it. Well, it was his gun. Okay. They do know, you can see in the crime scene photos that the gun safe was opened. When you look at the DNA analysis, I believe it was Kamel and somebody else's DNA that was not David's, and it was not Rania, which is the daughter, which you can see also between, like right here in the center, the little one with the looks like a little head. Yeah, that is. I do apologize for my mouse. I am not very skilled with the mouse, as you can see from my my door opening designs and all this. It's pretty poor. But basically, they did find bullet fragments that didn't really match with. Can you see where my mouse is right now? This one right here. Oh, okay. So you'll see that you see the headless body up, like the one near the top. That the one with kind of like the S-shaped arms kind of going around right there. Do you see that part? Okay, so the one you see the little body in between the legs. Yeah, that's the daughter, a 5-year-old daughter, Rania. Oh, yeah, that's the S-shaped arms, and then the body, and then in between the legs right there, little V shape right there, and then you got the little body. Yeah. So. Exactly. So basically what ended up happening, they also found that she was missing an arm. Once again, this is their bodies were badly decomposed as is. His face, like his skull, was like mostly gone. Okay, things like this. Her head was, Camille's head was gone. The daughter's arm was gone, and part of David's arm was gone as well, along with his hand. Keep in mind, David was right-handed, and he was missing his, So the thing is, the dog was actually in the home with them. Yeah. So you can see how dark this is. The dog had nothing to eat. Well, it didn't have enough to eat the entire time. So basically, the dog was allowed to kind of eat on the bodies. When I say allowed, I mean whoever did this, I've got a suspicion, had come back a few times. Just to kind of make sure the dog was okay. The neighbors, once again, inconsistent stories. If you go over the entire police, yeah. Exactly, yes. Cats are still hesitant to do it, though. But we all know cats are jerks, and they love us, but they absolutely hate us. So, yeah, back to what I was getting at, though. Yes, absolutely. They were. Now, that's the problem we're having here when it comes to this. We don't know exactly how long they were in there. If you go off of what the neighbors were saying, some of them heard gunshots, all this, prior, all this. I mean, exactly. They really do suck. But we don't know exactly how long they were in there, because I believe one of the coroners actually said they were in there for like a few days to like a week. And the other one was like, no, they've been here for like over a month. So how they get that large of a difference, I don't know. I don't see it. I see that they were probably decomposed for a while. Now, my current theory, I'm just going to throw this out there. I do believe that this is something that was really jacked up. Like, I do believe firmly in David's innocence here. Going over, I looked extensively at his personality. I've been speaking to people about it, things like this. I don't think he would have done this, especially with, like, if you look at the pictures. And I get it, he was former military, so yes, there's a possibility he could have snapped. But the thing is, you look on like a, Yes. Well, exactly. And the thing is, they did happen to find bugs and things like this, but there's some inconsistencies also with, like, for instance, if you were to look at someone like, for instance, the casings, some of them were moved. If you were to look between the crime scene photos, the initial crime scene photos, and I think it was like the AVPD crime scene photos and the BCA crime scene photos, there's some differences there. You see that some things were moved, which is also an issue. Once again, that should have been, once again, when it comes to these types of cases, that thing happens. That's crime scene tampering, regardless. I didn't hear about any police officers being, like, reprimanded or anything like this. So you're going to want to look up the Crowley family murders. That my episode is, he was, okay, so long, okay, I'll just go and do a quick recap. No problem. So it's called The Murder of the Gray State. Murders of the Gray State, because there was 3 murders here. I guarantee you these are 3 murders. I'm 110% sure. I bet basically anything on this. But when it comes down to it, the reason you see the part Gray State in there is because it was actually a film that David was actually doing. He was a filmmaker, and he was making this film called The Gray State. Well, The Gray State is basically about, like, a police state, essentially, like when the country basically goes under the control of a police state. FEMA just takes full control. Police are just like, they're killing, they're doing all these things, to basically ensure they're doing, the bidding of whoever's in charge. Really jacked up story. It's really good. If you read the script, it's actually really, really good. I'm not going to say, I don't necessarily think, I'm not trying to, like, diss on the guy, but it was a good script, but for the story, it definitely wasn't complete. And I think he knew that as well. But then by the time that this all happened here, he was just like, screw it. We're going to go and do something different. We're taking a different direction. We're going to do more of a documentary style. And I did actually happen to get a hold of the raw footage that was actually pushed out. I don't remember what the guy's name was that initially released the raw footage of Gray State: The Rise, but that is actually essentially that took documentation they'd gathered from people like, for instance, Mark Dice, Alex Jones, all this. They basically talked about this type of activity and the potential of it going on, and are we heading in that direction? Things like that. And they go over things like taxes and how it all, and like it's brilliantly put together and how it's. So, okay, for instance, positioning of the gun, the bullet casings, all this, it doesn't add up. Not to mention blood splatter. According to the police's story, they tried to go and push for the suicide, like, wholeheartedly. It's a double homicide and it's a suicide. Well, the thing is, you look at the setup for this. You look at the testimony of the friends and all this, the family. it all points to the same thing. They're all trying to push the PTSD. Well, the thing is, everybody that's looked at this case has said, no, he doesn't have PTSD. Okay. Police, different story. They didn't really like full on say, oh, it's PTSD, things like this. But it looks more like a staged type of scenario here, actually. But the thing is when it comes down to it, the big thing everybody was pushing was from A Gray State, which I believe is what it's called. A Gray State is the documentary that you can actually see it on Netflix, and they push for the same thing. It's PTSD, domestic, potentially domestic violence. They're having some issues, things like that. That's what they're trying to push. Okay, the guy made it very clear he was not suicidal, nor was he homicidal, especially towards his family. He just wanted to get his movie out. Now, things were going really good for the most part. Like I said, if you take a look at the website that I just pushed up, it's all of the crime scene information. You can read it yourself and see that it does not really lead conclusively. Okay, I'm going to throw it that way, towards the double homicide suicide. You just read the documentation, you'll see it. It doesn't add up. There's a lot of problems with, for instance, like I said, you got his arm missing, his right arm missing. He's right-handed. The gun was found near his left hand. Okay. How does that happen? Granted, yeah, I could fall and drop. Well, the thing is, you look at the gun that was used, it was actually up on a table. Yeah, exactly. It's very, very suspicious here. So, like I said, how did the gun get up on the table? It's all bloody and everything. How did he get up on the table? How did he kill himself? That was the gun that was found. Okay. And then, of course, this is the part I find despicable, because I know it's not true. I would doubt this wholeheartedly till the day I die. According to, I think it was his friend, one of his friends. It was I think it was Wright, Mr. Wright. Like I said, read the police reports. I'm not trying to damn anybody or anything, so I'm trying not to use full names, things like this. But I think it was Mr. Wright that actually had stated that it was something along the lines of David and Kamel were both wanting to do this. Okay, doesn't make any sense. They had big plans coming up for all sorts of different things. She was doing really well with her dietitian stuff, things like this. Now, based on kind of how things were going, I know that they were throwing a lot of money towards the Gray State, the film production, but he was getting ready just to release it. Not to release it just to go and, just leave it at that. No. He had plans. He was getting into another, he was getting, I think it was a new executive producer on it. They were talking big movie deals and things like this. No, I do realize. I mean, obviously. I realize this, but when it comes down to it, everything was adding up that they were getting these big old plans to go and start releasing all these things. He was very excited about it, but he was also trying to go and kick out those people on his team that he didn't trust. So I'm going to mention them because they're not trustworthy. And you know what? I'm not saying they're the suspects, but I'm not saying they're not. Okay. Throwing that way. But Mr. Mason, we got his brother, Daniel. We got what was his name? It was I think it was Mark Hendricks or something like this. Let me see if I can get it real quick. But he was trying to kick all his original team off. Okay, I don't know where it's at on here. I'd have to go and look again. But he was basically trying to kick all those people that he felt were kind of a problem for his production. He didn't feel they were fully with it, things like this. So he was trying to get them off the production entirely, going as far as getting a, what's it called? Let me get the exact wordage or verbiage here. Gray State release agreement. He wanted to go and basically get Danny Mason off of it. In fact, see if it'll pop up here. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to read it, so that way it's just a lot easier. So basic on one. Okay, I'll just read it. And this is from Danny to David. Buddy, please give me a call about moving forward before I sign the release form. Danny. Danny, in deference to your hesitation to sign the Gray State release document, I give you these verbal guarantees. You will have a full producer credit on the film The Rise, is unpaid, and then guaranteed casting as lead role John Waynick in the Gray State series, paid. You will have every opportunity to continue to collaborate, writing, producing episodes, and retaining your cherished position as a co-creator of the original concept within the public eye. But I will not be able to sign you into any contracted roles until I have your signed release document. I would like to have it by December 16th, after which we would be free to discuss a future with Gray State that's more respectful to your talents as a paid professional. Cheers, David. And that was it. Oh, I guess he's responding one more time. David, I apologize. Okay, bad grammar. For not getting this to you this weekend, was busier than anticipated. Oh, never mind. I read it backwards. Whoopsies. So, okay, I read it backwards, but still, you guys get the point here. He did not want to. He was really pushing to not sign it. It's the big thing here. Danny Mason also, before this, small-time actor. And again, I'm not trying to like diss on the guy or anything, but like small-time actor, after this, big-time actor. There's a lot of things that happen in between. I'm not going to go and push any of the conspiracy theories on this one currently. When I say conspiracy theories, I'm doing massive air quotes here because there's a lot of coincidences here, and I don't like how many coincidences there are with this. I don't. It just seems too good to be true. There's this many damn coincidences. And yes, it could happen. I get that, but I would say the likelihood of that is unlikely. But like I said, I'm not going to get into those today. So, and we're going to have future episodes on this. I do have other episodes I do need to cover as well. I've got other crimes I do want to cover. Like, for instance, I have an arson case that's still open in Portland. I'm trying to go and cover that. We're going to try and nail down the suspect on that. It was for it's a rib joint over in Portland. We're going to try and go and cover that. We do have other very, very strange deaths of people that have been looking into things, once again, that are very, very controversial. Okay. So we're going to be looking at these very, very peculiar deaths. Were they directly as what the police had stated? Were they, are we going with the story, or are we going to be looking at this with a magnifying glass? It's going to be kind of like that. So, yeah. Okay. So, we're going to get back to the crime scene here. Okay. So, a few things I just want to point out on this real quick. You'll see there's some red on the walls on the little island here. There is some red font, things like this. So the red font, these are the letters and buttons that were pushed. They clearly had blood on them. And yes, you can actually, if you go and take a look, it's AWREFL, shift and delete. You look at that. It is I believe it's a Smith & Wesson. I want to say it was a Smith & Wesson. Let me bring up the other one to go and figure it out. Let's see. Let me bring it up and see. It's not that one. Okay, I'll just bring up this one and we'll take a look. Just give me a second and we'll have that right up. Should be any second now. So this gun is, it's a Springfield Armory. It's an XD model. And it looks like it has kind of like a green shine to it. I believe it does use 9mm bullets as well, so I mean, just to kind of give a little extra information on that. Whose gun? It was Kamel and David's. I believe it was signed to Kamel, though. It could have been signed to David. I didn't get the details on that quite yet, but yeah, it was the household's gun, essentially. It's their gun. It was the one that was in the gun safe. But but as you can see here, the blood splatter is coming from this direction here. I mean, if he was shot from here, there would be blood splatter from here, all in this area too. There'd be some. There's none. And yes, the gun was the cause of death that was listed. There was what looked to be blunt force trauma to his skull. Just the fragments that were there. It was a bit much to look at, but yeah, it did look like there was some blunt force trauma to it. And it didn't look like it could have been just like, somebody just like, whacked him one time and it was done. No, it looked like he was hit multiple times. I'm still looking at it to go and compare it to other kinds of things, like for instance, like the dog's jaw, things like this, and see maybe if it was maybe the dog's teeth that did it. I'm still looking into that, but it's very peculiar. This whole crime scene is just brutal and it's peculiar. Like I said, if you want to take a look, I'll get you the link right now so you can feel free to take a look. Yeah. So, but we did find like blood smears all over the place, like right here along the wall. You'll see it's right about like right next to the big couch, right here near the bodies. It actually was blood smeared, stating, not stating, but saying Allahu Akbar. So, but that was smeared by hand. Looking at it, personally, it looks like it was done with a right hand, but it looked like it was like most letters were done with just kind of like just raking the hands down, with the blood and raking it down. And just to kind of clarify whose blood it was Kamel's. So I'm assuming it was most likely from her head wound. So that's why I'm pretty sure she was shot. I could be wrong. But I mean, everything they're basically stating, yeah, she was Mr. Head. So it makes sense at this point. So, but it was blood smeared on the wall. Not to mention some of the smears look like it could have been with the back of the hand as well, because there's an inconsistent thumb. You'll literally you'll see that it's up at the top and then it's not there going down the whole way. So once again, could that have just been he just kind of didn't have his thumb down with his left hand? Possibly. It's unlikely, I would argue. Just based on my suspicion about this, I do feel that it was all done by right hand. Like I said, if it's my theory, I think somebody had gotten a hold of his right arm and used that to smear. But once again, there would be a little bit more blood and things like this. I'm taking a look. Like I said, this is an incomplete crime scene. I haven't fully recreated it all the way, but I'm still trying to note down where every last piece of blood splatter is. So when I do come back to revisit this case, hopefully we're going to be closing the case that night. Tonight we're not going to, obviously, but back to where all the blood's at. You also see there's going to be blood also on the island near the footprints. Keep in mind the footprints they're bloody, but it's not a full foot. It just looks like it's the ball of the foot. That's it, and the toes. And then there's also blood in the kitchen near the dishwasher, which was left open, and there was some blood in there as well, right there on the lip of the dishwasher door. And then there's a few drops in front of that. Now, could that have easily just been somebody, like they got shot or they just kind of waved their arm or whatever and just it got over there? It's a possibility, but I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it. Like I said, I think this was like basically somebody trying to clean up and to really push this as a double murder suicide. I think like I said, I can't give conclusive proof as of yet because I haven't fully created a crime scene. And for me to fully do that, like I said, if you look at the initial crime scene, it's a bit confusing looking at it. Like you can see how it all kind of works out But when they start doing the circles and arrows, it's, for me, that just, it gets a little confusing looking at it that way. It's like, it's better just for me to just recreate it and then take a look at it from that perspective. Just because I know I'm not going to throw the same things. I've got layers on Photoshop where I can just basically just kind of, I know what this is and what this is and what this is. And if I don't want to see a layer, I can just do that. I can just make it so it's not visible. So, but you'll also see there is a little blood here on the wall near these arrows. And then, of course, near this back doorway over here, there's some smears on the wall as well. That's what I've got down so far. There was also some other things, like, for instance, in that same room that it looks like it's going toward, that the blood smear over on the wall right here in the back room area, looks like it's going towards, yes, that's his back room office. And that is, there was a little steno pad with some blood smears on it. And I believe it said something along the lines of, like, let me pull it up again quick, and we'll get right to that. So just also an FYI too, when I do bring up like the YouTube video and all this, it is going to have some information on it. For instance, it'll be on the overlay itself when going over this, or off to the side. However, I decide to graphically represent this. It'll have all the information about like the room or the home, the details about what the temperature was outside, things like this. I'm trying to get all that down. As you can see, if you didn't notice in the crime scene, the back door, it looks like it's a window. It's actually a sliding glass door. It's much larger than other windows. Well, besides this front one, but this back one over here, it's actually slightly open. That was actually found by the police that way. So, and there was only a couple, I believe it was like 2 windows that were actually like unlocked, but everything else is locked up tight. So, could he have just, forgot to fully close this door? Could he have, there's a lot, I would argue it's quite a few different things that were, forgotten to, lock up or shut up, things like this. Do I think that's a definitive, like, yeah, we have this isn't, no, that's not, that couldn't have happened that way. No, I can't. I can't fully rule that out as of right now. And I get where the cops are. They have to have a definitive thing. This has to be conclusive on everything for them to be able to claim it. But once again, it was not conclusive that this is a double homicide suicide. There's not enough conclusive evidence to show that. There's not enough conclusive evidence to show that it was a triple homicide necessarily either. There's some mere coincidences and things like this that happen to be. So like I said, it's just kind of some people lean towards, oh, no, he did it. And there's others that are just like, no. Now, I do lean on the side that no, I don't think he did. So just to clarify that again. But we do know for a fact that, of course, all 3, they died. Now, my sneaking suspicion is whoever did this is, like I said, that's how I'm leaning on this. I believe Kamel was home alone. I believe that David, or if she wasn't home alone, she was out in the living room. And then David was elsewhere along with Rania as well. So, like I said, you look at the photos, you're going to see she's got a messy room. Well, generally, do kids have a messy room like this? Yeah. Just to kind of give experience from me on this one, since obviously I have kids. My daughter's room, it could just be parenting. I'm not trying to go and judge the parenting either, but her room is a bit messy. Okay. And it looked like somebody had, like she had been in bed. Kind of looked that way. And then she kind of just, got out of bed real quickly. And, it was just the house is kind of set up that way. Kind of, it looked like it was just kind of like they were told to come out. And then it happened. Like I said, it's just a theory. Currently, I don't have a whole lot of evidence to go and support my findings on this. But this is my current belief. And like I said, I'm aiming to kind of try and prove that. But once again, it's comes down to conclusive evidence. And like I said, some of the evidence is a bit odd. Like, for instance, the DNA analysis on, like, the gun. There was, I believe it was Kamel's DNA. I believe is what it was. And then there was there was other DNA on it. It was like two, I think it was like two other people that they ruled out couldn't be Rania or David, which doesn't make any sense because David would have most likely had his DNA on that gun as well. But I believe they shot those two down. Just said nope, it's not theirs at all. It's Kamel's, and there's like two other people on it. So interesting, I would argue. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could have just been somebody else had, like, maybe they purchased the gun off somebody, maybe they bought it from a pawn shop. There's a lot of different things it could have been. Okay. She was the only one working, so there were a single income family. David did have some other things kind of going on. I don't know if any of them actually went, like, they funneled into paying him directly. I don't know. I'm still looking at that, but there's that, So could they have? And then, even then, you look at some of the journal entries there. She was upset. They had some issues in the relationship. What relationship doesn't have issues? And I'm not trying to go and throw this as a blanket and say every relationship has issues. I don't care who it is. Everybody has issues with somebody to some degree. It could be something even minor. So, but it seemed like basically they had their family in order. She had kind of her game plan. He had his game plan. He was like, okay, I'm going to release this movie. We're going to go and get this big movie deal. He had met with some Hollywood producers, his entertainment company, all this. So, it wasn't going to go his way through them. So I know he was looking elsewhere. And I think that's why he was bringing on another producer or an executive producer and things like this. They had a direction that he wanted to go and take. He wanted to be more part of the film. And that's basically what it was. He didn't want to act in it necessarily, but he wanted to be a part of it. Like in the manner of like, hey, I'm going to go and I want to make sure I'm doing at least the directing or something. I know big movie studios, that's not necessarily how this works. So, but when it comes to this, like I said, this blood splatter is the part that's really kind of got me a little intrigued here because I believe it's down here. The photos are terrible when it comes to the chair. So I do apologize for that when you guys are looking. It is absolutely just horrendous. They could have gotten better angles and they didn't. Me looking at the crime scene, I'm like, why didn't they just kind of get down? They can get the photos still, but they can actually get full on. This is the chair. This is what we're getting it off of. You kind of have to kind of guess on it where it was at, and it does look more like it was on the, like it was one of those like little. When you're in a recliner, it's like the little leg part, the little leg rest that pops up. It looks like it was on there, like on the little bottom corner. And it looks like it was like closer towards like Rania and all them. So it's this, if you're looking at it just top down like this, it'd be the top left corner, essentially. Is where that, it looked like there was like a big old blood stain on it. So do we know if that is directly like, maybe was he shot while he's down? We don't know anything really about this. We don't. We have zero details as to how that exactly got there. It's, like I said, inconsistent crap in this case. And there's a ton of it. So I highly suggest if you guys are interested in this case as well. Like I said, I do have a video coming out hopefully in the next couple weeks about it. It's going to be it's going to be a much cleaner looking crime scene when I get this completed. So, I'm actually hoping to actually have it down to the millimeter. This, I was anticipating I was going to have it done, but life happens and still investigating this and kind of get lost in that versus actually recreating. So, do apologize for that, but that happened. So, whew. But yeah, this is it's a very, very peculiar case, to say the least. I know I've probably said it a few times already, but other thing I want to note too is you'll notice if you look at the bathroom, it's so if you go down the hallway, it's not that first little room you see with the door kind of flinging out towards the blood splatter direction. It's that second one on the left, or I guess. Yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're walking down that hallway, it'd be on your left, the first door, or second door. And there it looked, and the thing is, when you look at it, it at first kind of looks like urine in the toilet. However, upon examination on that, you can see that it's clearly there's a paper towel in there. And it looks like somebody ripped off a paper towel. Now, there was only like 3 locations where the paper towels could have been. There was the office, which is right across from the bathroom. There's the kitchen table, which you can see is near the back door. And then there's the one that's downstairs, which is not on here. It looked like it was like a piece of paper towel, like just like one sheet of it. Maybe 2 potentially. And basically it looked like it was being used to kind of clean up the hands or whatever and then thrown in the toilet. And I get it, yeah, it could still look like urine, and it could still very well be urine. I could be wrong. I cannot prove this quite yet. I am planning on conducting a few experiments of my own with, like, I'm gonna sound really gross here, but I'm gonna try and get some, I'm gonna try and get some blood. I'm actually gonna throw it. I'm gonna grab some toilet water. I'm gonna put it that way. I'm going to go and put it in an open air environment at 68 degrees if I can. And then I'm going to go and see, is this blood or is this urine? And once again, I'm going to do the same thing with urine to go and see. Is I'm curious what it could be. Urine, yes, I do know that once again, the darker color it is, that's like blood and things like this. There's other things in the urine at that point. So could that still do it? Yes. Now, we also have blood. Last I checked, last I've read about, that in water, it can, with a certain ratio, over time, it can discolor the water. Okay, but once again, I believe it's more water than it is blood. I believe is what does that though. Once again, I don't know the exact ratio, and I don't even remember the exact book I read it in. So, I mean, take my word for it or not, that's fine. As I always tell everybody, don't just take my word for it. Research yourself, look at this, look at it very clearly. But yeah, this is, like I said, it's frustrating because there's some things that, once again, we don't know directly what they are. We don't know what this is. Did he go in there? Was this David? Did he go in there and did he take a leak, or did he clean off his hands and throw a paper towel in there? Who knows? Was this a suspect that did this? Did they take a leak? Once again, why wasn't it tested? That's my question. So we don't exactly know. Not to mention, when we're looking at kind of like where his mental state is, I would argue that yes, it was probably like some of the things he was looking into are probably a little bit like, whoa, kind of like alarming. When you first learn about some of these things, whether you believe it or not, it's kind of like I said, what he's looking at here, he was getting towards, he was reading a lot of conspiracy theories and things like this. Now, like I said, I get it. A lot of people right off the bat, right when they hear that, like, oh, no, he had to have done it. He was looking at this stuff, and no, that doesn't mean anything. Just because he looks like a conspiracy theory doesn't mean he's going to kill his family. Just because he was in the military doesn't mean he has PTSD. It's the same thing. I know a lot of people like to lean that. I just don't understand it. But you also notice, back to we get back on the crime scene here, you'll notice there's some blood in front of the dog cage. I believe this is firmly just from the dog. Actually, I think this is where the dog was sleeping at first, at least for a day or two. And, it'd probably run out of food and it was getting hungry and probably decided to go munch on one of the bodies. And that's why we have some blood there, because you also see blood. There's a little bit of a blood trail here. And then, so I think that maybe it got caught on the dog's fur, but once again, we didn't get to see any photos of the dog, which once again, last I checked, that should have been something they documented. If the dog was munching on the bodies, the dog would, regardless, they see that dog is going to get the pictures taken. They're going to go and see the front of the face, things like that. They're going to take pictures. So, why they didn't, I don't know. Why this took them a few days to basically call it a murder-suicide, I don't know. There's not enough evidence to actually suggest that, especially not that quickly. So, like I said, but I'm open to theories. You guys have looked at it already. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Gonna explore. It's fine. For the rest of this stream, gonna see what we can find. This is not just me just blathering on. Even though a lot of people would probably assume I do enjoy to hear my own voice. I don't, actually. So what do you guys think? You think this is a double double homicide, single suicide? Do you think this is a triple homicide? Do you think aliens did it? I'm just joking with that last one. I don't think anybody believes that one ever. I have a few suspects, yes. Once again, I just got to put this as a disclaimer, as this video will go up on YouTube. Whatever you guys do, don't go and harass these people. There's no point. There's really no reason to. We don't know if they are innocent or if they are malicious. We don't know. We have no way to actually tell right now. I know, and statistically, I mean, that's the thing. I get it. You know, that's why they want to throw up. Once again, I don't feel there's enough conclusive evidence to actually show that he did it, though. I don't feel like it's just kind of like looking at it, oh, yeah, no, he did it. You know? Or, oh, we got a little bit of evidence here to suggest that. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot of evidence to really suggest that, I feel. I feel it was kind of like we have enough evidence to show they died, and they died of some gunshot wounds. You know? That's basically all I see there. I'm still looking at it. I'm like, some of this stuff doesn't necessarily mean he did it. Like I said, positioning of the gun, that's one thing that's just like, how is that possible? You know? So, and if you are looking at the photos, you'll see there's a knife in the crime scene that was unused. So, if he did it, then, you know, he used a knife for something, well, where's the proof that he used it? There's none. There's zero. Absolutely zero. But he was out on the floor. So, it's curious. It's a curious little note there. There is, from what I found, I know that people have also, I'll get to the suspect in just a second, but there's one thing I do want to cover real quick. Because this got brought up when I was talking to some people. What do you mean they bungled it? Oh, like they just kind of just dropped the ball in it? And we're just going to throw it this way? So one thing I just want to cover really quickly is people have spoken about basically like seeing all this like white hair or fur or something like this around the crime scene. Yeah, no, so when it comes to evidence, there was I think it was 16 things were analyzed, and it was 31 that were not. I believe they state they got 47. No, they didn't. They did not do their jobs well on this one. Like I said, I mean, when it comes down to even then, forensic evidence, when asked after they did the 16, I don't know why they even bothered asking. You get evidence, chances are, especially if it's, once again, the analysts are seeing, okay, that's not necessarily conclusive. Why is the police department saying, no, that's enough. We don't need any more evidence. We don't need any more analyzation on this. We don't. To me, that's odd. But yeah, no, they had 47 apparently 47 pieces of evidence. 16 were analyzed and 31 were not. They said 21 were not. Well, what happened to the other 10? So I'm just going to go with the full number. 31 were not. Once again, I mean, there's some issues along with that too. And yes, I think is a possibility. I think it's based on some of the bullet casings, kind of moving direction and things like this. Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Do I think it's likely? Yeah, not really. It's a bit bigger than a bullet casing or bullet fragment. So I can see them missing the bullet casings, bullet fragments, but a gun, no, unlikely. I don't think they would move it. It's relevant where it's at. If it's moved, it's not as relevant. It can change everything right there. So I don't think they did. I mean, they would have to be the most moronic police officers ever to do that. That's like basics. That's 101, man. You don't move shit in the crime scene. And if a cop were to do that, once again, there's usually some really like big like what's it called? Basically punishments. They did this, they screwed up big time. We're talking like potential suspension, I would argue, or something along those lines. But once again, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel they did a very good job. I mean, looking at Portland police, they do a better job, in my opinion. And I don't feel like a lot of their crime scenes are even, bundled up well. They don't, some of the evidence they happen to miss sometimes is kind of just weird too, so. Well, and that's the thing. That's where it kind of comes down to maybe it's somebody they know. That's why it looks like there's no initial struggle. That's my belief, that it was just somebody they knew. And once again, there was other DNA on the gun safe. So I don't know, like I'm not familiar with that gun safe. Like we can actually look into that. I think it's basically you just got another combination, I think is what it is, but oh, excuse me. I mean, you own a gun yourself, so I mean, does that gun safe look like something you're familiar with, or? Let's take a look. We'll look at a fingerprint gun safe. Oh, that's a fingerprint one. It's actually right here. So that was a fingerprint one, so it would have had to have been potentially. Yeah, one second. You can see it right there on the top. This one right here. It's the exact one. Actually, I think it's this one that is. Let me take a look. I have an incognito tab to go and look up through the photos because, once again, there's some disturbing stuff in there and I don't want to get punished on Twitch or YouTube. Yeah, it's a 2-story or 2-level, and it's got so it's that one right here. Just want to make sure you guys can see it. Yep, you can see it's right over here on the one with the little plastic guns in it. Well, yes, except for the fact they found Kamel's fingerprints there. Oh, no, I know. There's parts that do look like they kind of stack against him. And I do understand that, but at the same time, like I said, just that alone is not enough to convict the husband. And once again, technically speaking, they gave him, they went and charged him. So the thing is, that's not enough damning evidence to actually charge him right there. You got the gun out, okay. You got them dead, gunshot wound, okay. And you got the gun safe open. Okay, that's really not enough. The blood splatter is going to tell another story. That's going to kind of tell how the scene went down. So I think we need to figure that out before we can actually fully determine it. And like I said, I looked at it and I'm like, there's no way. I don't think so. You look at like the position in the bullet casings, the bullet fragments. I don't think it's likely. And some of them, they even look like they're kind of like almost like a JFK magic bullet almost. I'm not saying like, from behind the head and came back out through or whatever. I'm not saying anything like that. Nothing crazy, but midair the bullet changed course. Well, yeah, no, there's some things that can't be answered currently. I'll put it that way. And like I said, I believe there's going to be, we can tell a lot more about kind of what happened. Once we can kind of get the story of how this all went down, I believe that's when we can kind of figure out, okay, was this third party or was this not? The thing is I think personally that basically I think we need to figure out, okay, was this how I stated it, or like my belief on how this kind of went down, with Kamel being killed first, the other two being coming out around that time or something, and then they were killed. I don't know. Was this like he just came out, and like they had this big fight, or we don't know. We don't even know anything that happened that night. I didn't see much. And once again, that doesn't mean that he couldn't have been just brought out and basically told, you're going to sit down, you're going to watch this happen, you're going to do this. Yeah, he could have easily tried. Once again, if they were there, they could have adjusted the crime scene as well. Keep in mind, this is a family that also, like I said, if you go off of the witness testimony, which is it's not really that good at all. But once again, you go off of all of them, they all share some similar stories about David. Pretty much a shut-in. Drapes would be closed at all times of the day, pretty much. And he might open during the day, things like this. But it was, for the most part, drapes are shut. His front drapes are. You go off what his friends even states. Like I said, I do believe, I don't like the documentary. I think it's actually, they keep trying to push for PTSD, domestic violence. They push for all this. I don't feel it's, I honestly, I don't buy it. I don't buy what they're saying. It just, to me, it just seems a little just too set up. No, I miss talking with you on that too, man. I have tried to call you. Just saying, just have tried to call you about it. But like I said, it's what comes down to this is I think that's going to be the crucial part we need to figure out. What is the story? How did this happen? You go off the witness testimonies. Once again, they tell you a different story about the family. Nobody in the neighborhood really even knew them. There was some discussion, things like this. Everybody basically kind of talked about how they were a very happy looking family. Like I said, I get it. Somebody could be suicidal and show no signs of it. I get it. But at the same time, this is a guy, like I said, he had some big things kind of going on. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. The gun, for whatever reason, could have been out. He could have been cleaning it. There's numerous different things. And once again, if you got, they actually do have I'll show you. This part right here, this is about crime scene staging and detection. There's a reason they left it in here. I haven't read it all the way through, but I've talked with them a little bit about it, so not a great deal, but kind of like it. They're pushing me towards this. They want me to read this. But yeah, you can always go there. I'll just go and send a link. This is true. Well, and yeah, that's another point. Like I said, there's a lot of things that just kind of seem very, very out of place. This is also true. Yes. And I didn't see any either when I looked over the crime scene. But once again, they could have easily, we can always argue that, okay, they were taken. There's easily that explanation as well. Yeah, that's true as well. But that's what I'm saying. We don't know the whole story on this. We don't. And that's the thing. You can look at it, pretty much any crime scene that's been fully okay, this is what happened. They can kind of tell you directly how the whole scenario went down. Most crime scenes they can. Not all. Most. They can give you a bit of a story. With this, there's what do we have? We've got a family was murdered in their home. None of the neighbors came to check on them, with a gunshot. There was, I believe one of the neighbors claimed they heard a gunshot. I think it was on the I think it was in January actually when they stated. But the thing is like there was also Christmas presents on their doorstep too. The brother didn't bother calling when he dropped off. There's a lot of things that are kind of an issue with it. Exactly. I mean, we know they did, and the thing is, I mean, just if you gauge it, like this is my thing here. If you're gauging on, and you can't fully necessarily trust this way, but once again, I'm kind of gauging this way right now because it's like their photographer did a really shoddy job. When they checked out the house, all this, they did a shoddy job. They weren't like. It just didn't seem like they really did their due diligence on this case. It kind of just looks like it was like okay, they're dead. We got there's a whiff. Oh God, let's get we'll get CSI down here basically and just, have them take a look and then we'll kind of determine what happened from there. That's lazy policing. Let's be honest. That's really, really lazy detective work. So, and like I said, there's usually there'll be more of a story than what they have here. If you ask them what is the story, they're just going to go, oh, well, he killed his wife and kids, or his wife and kid and then killed himself. There's more to it than that. There always is. I can't think of a single case at all, nor have I heard of any case being just that simple. That's the thing. It's assumed to be the head. But they list in the coroner's report, I believe it was this left parietal lobe, I believe is where it came out, I believe. Either came out or went in, I don't remember exactly. But yeah, they basically said, yeah, he shot himself in the head. Once again, where's the rest of the head? Where's the rest of the skull? How can they just judge this just based on very, very limited evidence they have? Information. And that's the thing. He's right-handed, so he's not going to shoot himself in the left head or left side of his head. Yeah. So, like I said, we don't know if it went. Well, that's the thing. We don't know necessarily. Like based on what they're saying, like you go over the crime scene report based on the different officers. They all basically come to the same conclusion. Guy didn't have a head. Yeah. Exactly. So how's the coroner coming up and be like, oh yeah, either is out or is in the left parietal lobe? I mean, how can they do that if they didn't even have the skull there? That doesn't make any sense. So we don't know. And the thing is, if you look at it, what the cops are also trying to go and push here, and the investigators on this, and they basically tried to go push that the dog ate like. I don't remember how many bones, but it was a grip of bones, like just an absolute mess of them. No. Not in that short amount of time, and especially as the dog's like a beagle. Right, that's going to happen. No. So. Yeah, but the thing is, the skull fragments would still be there. That's the part I'm having trouble understanding here because they went over the whole thing and there's no skull. Like there's a fragment of it, one fragment. That's not enough to go and say, oh, he shot himself here. Unless there was like literally like burn marks or literally exit marks on that. Well, they will. They'll eat the bones. There's been enough investigation on that yeah, we can conclude, yeah, they'll eat bones. Oh, that's fine. But it's still, regardless, it's the whole thing that, like I said, they do eat bones. But to eat that amount. No, it's no worries, man. Like I said, it's not a big deal. I'm definitely planning on getting down, off stream and all this to look at the crime, actually, like a lot more, like extensively. So. I'm going to have to take some time off. Some of my projects I've got those started. And, I'm going to have to take some time from that, and that's fine. Not a big deal. This is important. Because I firmly, like I said, I do believe he's innocent. I see. My belief is, I believe it's too good to be true on a lot of this. Ah, those are fun. I prefer big dogs to small dogs. Ankle biters I'm not really a fan of. But like I said, this is very, very peculiar. You know, a lot of the different things here, it's like, okay, well, we don't have the story, but we have limited evidence, essentially. Like I said, they've got 47 pieces of evidence to analyze, and they only analyzed 16. That, to me, that's screaming red flag there. Like I said, I mean, you got to read the information about it. So like I said, it's I don't think so. Well, yeah, I mean, we can't conclude either way that he is the murderer. All we can really conclude at this point is that the family they're dead. That's all we can actually conclude at this point. So, because even with body decomp and all this kind of stuff, there's really, like I said, you go off the corner, which one? You know, and one's saying it's like, oh, it's like a week or so, and the other one's saying it's like a month, practically. So, you know, which one do we go with? And if we go with, like, let's say it's the month long, well, still, even then, where's the skull? You know? Yeah, but like I said, it's it's not convincing me this is a double homicide, single suicide. It just, everything is just kind of like I said, it's just being pushed that way. So just based on what the police have stated, what his friends and family have stated, just seems like that's something that they're just trying to go and push for. Now, as to why his family and friends have pushed this way, well, I mean, I've got my own belief on them, and like I said, I'm not going to go out and, like, defame somebody or any of this kind of stuff right now, without any kind of proof. But I don't, like I said, you'd have to go over these things like this. Oh yeah, no, I'm planning, like, these are 2.5 hours long roughly, and like I said, my next one I'm working is most likely arson. But if you're not familiar with Bill Cooper, I'm actually potentially going to be looking at him tomorrow night, because apparently, like, mentally, like, he kind of just snapped, and all of a sudden all these bad things started going on, and all the things he'd been looking at. I mean, there's a lot of things, but I'm starting my think with him. But we're going to see, like I said, it just depends. If the arson isn't solved tomorrow, like by the time I get on the stream, then that's what I want to work on. Because we actually got video footage of exactly what happened. We actually have the face of the person that did this. Now, we just don't have a name. Thing that's really striking me with that one as well is the fact that they've got the face. The Portland Police Bureau actually has the face of the suspect here. You'd figure they'd have the name. Or at least they would be closer to it than we are. And it doesn't sound like they're very close to it. Or if they have it, they're not handing it out. But they want to know who it is. I don't know. But, you know, I'm going to focus on this case the rest of the time, though, since, you know, that's what this stream is about. But, you know, it's, like I said, there's way too many issues in this case that I'm just like, I am not convinced. You know, I know that there are people, like, it's one of those things that's kind of like, there's people that are convinced it was him, he did it. And then there's those that are just like, no, I don't buy it. Like, personality-wise, I mean, yeah, granted, I get it. A person who is suicidal is not showing it necessarily, or a person with PTSD, they just snap one moment and boom, they could just do it. I get it. It could be totally sudden. But the thing is, I'm trying to understand, if it was suicide, why? If it was a double homicide suicide, why? Like I said, you go off of all the information of all these different things. Yeah, in November, I mean, we know that he was looking at this thing, the anxiety. Let me bring it up. and the Anxiety Summit, which is this year, and you can see that on a paper on his desk, or not his desk, but his what's it called? Like one of his little side tables. It was near his window. And you can see right here, June 2014, November 2014. So if we look at season 2, okay, this is the one that he would have most likely, like he could have done either of those. So then you get to start seeing the speakers and things like this. But was he anxious, and what was he anxious about? You know, if he was anxious, what was he anxious about? Like I said, there's a lot of questions I have on this case, and like I said, I'm still trying to get those answered. No, I said I wasn't going to do this, but so I'm not going to. But yeah, look, like I said, there's a lot of questions. I'm still trying to get them answered. When it comes to this, like I said, it's just kind of, it's a slow process. You know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of looking around the crime scene, see what I can find. If I see people that have questions, you know, well, let's get into the questions. I mean, I would say that's really quarantine. What do you mean? This is like 2014 when that happened, 2015. I should have mentioned that. I totally should have mentioned that. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, the quarantines didn't actually happen until, what were they? Like 2009? No, it was 2020 when they happened. So I mean, obviously it was like 4 or 5 years before, or sorry, almost 6 years before. Actually, potentially could be 6. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, I mean, no, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do have the other 2 episodes up if you want to take a look. They are on YouTube. Well, one of them is actually episode 1. Is episode 2 never finished uploading because I got a strike for appealing. Wonderful, right? Yeah, it was on my COVID video. So, like I said, whether anybody wants to believe it or not, that's fine. That's their call. But I use the CDC, WHO, and all them against themselves, and apparently YouTube doesn't like that. So, but well, you know what? I'll send you a link to, or an invite to my Facebook page, so that way you can see. I've got exactly what was posted, you know, and I go over just directly why I'm like, what the heck, you know. Yes, 2004. Yeah, but that's the thing. It was like, yeah. They gave me a warning at first, and then I got a strike because I appealed it. Yeah, I'm like, thanks, YouTube. So, but I mean, that's fine. I'm still on Rumble. I'm still on BitChute, and I'm on Odyssey as well. So, but you know, I once I can get back up on YouTube and start like uploading and stuff, then I'm gonna go and upload part 2 and part 3. So, well, this part as well. And then I'll have the video up, like I said, hopefully in a couple weeks. I got to get the script up because it is going to be scripted. I'm not going to try and give out anything that is not factual. So, like, I'm not going to go and be like, oh, this is what I'm assuming. Or this is what this is, and not actually have any proof. I might say this is my opinion and things like this and put that in there. But, you know, I'm going to do like a probably one and done on the actual YouTube video. And then if that's not like that doesn't necessarily, that's like not the solved case, then once we're able to kind of figure out exactly what happened and all this and all, yeah, I'll bring out another video at that point as well. But but yeah, no, this is I mean, I do agree that yes, there could be some paranoia there, which could lead to the anxiety. Now, I don't think that, I mean, it's like I looked back and I didn't see any kind of indication this stuff was happening right then and there in 2014 or 2013. So, like, for what he's talking about directly. But, like I said, there's some, I would definitely say there's some truth there. He probably was paranoid. Can't blame him. I mean, as you know, I'm quite paranoid, but I mean, same time, I'm not gonna. If I figured a police state was coming after my wife and kids, absolutely not. I'm not gonna kill them. I'm not gonna kill myself. Absolutely not. We all know I'm a fighter. I'm not gonna do that. David was a fighter. I don't think he would do it. He's a former soldier. I don't think he would just, I need to, go and take care of my wife and kid here, and this is how I'm going to do it. No, I don't think so. I mean, but I do agree. I do think that he probably had some paranoia, like I would say to a higher degree than just like the average Joe, for sure. Yeah, it happened a while ago, and they just kind of quickly just ran over it and like, yeah, double homicide, single suicide. That was over and this case took place over in what was it called, Apple Valley, Minnesota. So yeah, I remember hearing about it like briefly. I just remember people giving me flack for this as I was looking at some of this kind of stuff too. So like different kinds of like cases and all this and different quote unquote conspiracy theories. So, but yeah, it's messed up either way. Like I feel like the police didn't do their due diligence. And I feel like everybody was very quick to just go and he did it. Like I said, there's not enough evidence to conclusively prove that, nor conclusively prove that he, commit suicide. Like I said, we've got the data. We have all the data through these websites, or at least I would argue at least most of it. I mean, if there is any extra data, then once again, it's stuff that they haven't got from the police yet. So, but like I said, still looking, still see if there's anything new we can find. Just to kind of throw out a really, really weird coincidence here, and like I said, I know that there's people that do believe that it is a potential for it, and there's some that don't. When it comes down to it, really strange. Yeah, and either way, I mean, it's still it's the same exact information we have. We have more now than we did initially. They even had a private investigator look at this, and honestly, like his report, it just kind of felt like at first he's like, oh no, this is totally like it does not reek of suicide or a suicide and double homicide. By the end of it, he's like, no, it's a double homicide suicide. Well, that guy's. You look at like what he was talking about, and it's like, wait, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. Just kind of just going over his dating. Like, well, what? So I did that in my episode 2. So I'm not going to cover it again. There's a lot there. But you can see it. Like I said, if you want to go watch episode 2, you can find it on Rumble, Odyssey. No, not Odyssey. You can find it on Rumble and BitChute. You can find both those episodes on YouTube. You won't be able to because once again they put me on a strike because they don't they don't like me appealing either. So whatever. Screw YouTube. And that's fine. I have found that I can say that, and because I'm not monetized already, it doesn't really make any difference. So I'm just trying to get the information out. That's basically the big thing here. So, but no, like I said, it's not enough evidence to conclude either way, which sucks. But there's some very, very strange things. For instance, his brother pulled out $50,000 out of their. They had some like money. I don't know what that was about exactly, but he pulled out $50,000. I'll see if I can find it. Where is it? Where was it? I mean, I found this one interesting, though. The donor list. He had all this money apparently going towards the movie. And you can see some pretty large numbers there. So what happened to it? I haven't added it up yet. I mean, we could. I don't see why not. I don't know if it really matters, but there's that. I mean, that there was a crap ton of money. But once again, if he's looking at like police state type of things, why is he looking at why is he going for or getting money from a Rockefeller? Why is he getting money from? I mean, there's people on here who's like, wait, what? It's very, very suspicious at that point. I don't remember who else, but there's a few of them on here, and I was like, wait, what? Why are you getting money from these people? These people will be like the ones that like don't want to give you money. They're the ones that want to like put money into somebody else is gonna like straight up say no, get out of here, kind of thing. We're gonna go and, we don't want your crap up here. So. I mean, I could be wrong, absolutely, but once again, I mean, from things I've looked at when it comes to this, I don't think a Rockefeller would ever give money to this guy's cause. So I think that's a little suspicious. Let me see if I can find it. There's this too. I mean, I don't know how much you've looked at on the website yet, but why is this taking so long? Oh, jeez. Oh, I knew I forgot to go do something tonight. Yeah, I'm basically, this is what I'm working on tonight, trying to get my my drawing tablet back up and working. Right now, it's like slows my computer down. I can't even operate on it. Like, I try to do anything over there, and it's just like, nope. We're gonna make it so your crap is crashing. That's not cool. Should be any second now, hopefully. So it'll load up. So we got a steno book. I mean, they go over things like their bills and things like this in here. I was hoping, like tonight was initially supposed to be covering handwriting. I didn't get a chance to even get to that, so we can actually go and compare. It would take a sec for me a bit to go and actually get everything ready to actually go and compare writing styles and all this. But this is the big one here. You'll see there's like some markings over here. This is blood. It's like right along in here, here, here. A bit weird. Even if you go off of what the documentary says, this guy did not like Islam at all. Like when he was in the military, he saw them as just very, very and I know that there are people that don't have very, very good views of religious folk at all. Think they're just basically just believing in a fairy tale. I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what anybody says on this, but this guy he had done tours in the Middle East, and he did not like how the Islamic religion apparently was. And I'm based on what the documentaries say, it subjugated people, especially women and children and things like that. So he didn't like that. So he had an issue with that. And then you'll notice his wife was Middle Eastern. She was a convert to Christianity, and that was I don't know if it's for him or because of him or what, but she converted to Christianity. Now, granted, later on in life, you see they both kind of convert more away from Christianity and more onto like some new age type of things, like for instance, like energy healing and all this kind of stuff. It was kind of odd. I don't know how much they fully like converted into it, but not a brewski. We all know I don't drink, so. Just the do. A dooski, I guess you could say. But no, it's like I said, he even with his other, like his wife's family, obviously he had to be somewhat cool with him initially, at least to some degree, I would argue. Maybe not fully like, oh yeah, let's be best friends, but he was at least cordial and things like this. So, but they were Islamic believers. So, but I mean, you see photos of the father-in-law and David together, and like they're like in an arm wrestling like position, and I mean, it seemed like they genuinely liked each other. And like I said, it just doesn't. And I get it, so, like suicide can sometimes just not make sense. It just kind of just out of the blue, just I got to do it. Just gonna just I don't. But like I said, I just something like I said, just something about this. Like they were so happy. You can see it in the photos. You can see these types of things. I really question it. I just don't see it as likely. But as you can see, though, there's a bunch of stuff in here. He's talking about like how he's gonna go and release the film, like how he's gonna do it, what he wants to do, different things he wants to do with it. And then of course there's like some other things you'll see here in just a second. I actually haven't read this page before, so this is new. Interesting. He has very sloppy handwriting, as you can see. Had, rather. So. And he's got his test group he wants to go over and all this. I mean, he had a lot of information on here, like on veterans and things like this too. So, I mean, like I said, do I think he had PTSD? I mean, it's a possibility he could have and just didn't, handle it properly. It's a possibility. There we go. There you go. See that? Submit to Allah. Yeah, there's. Wish I knew where it was at. Let's see. Nope, didn't have it on there. Okay, fine. I mean, the script though, just like I said, it's pretty good. It could have been done better, but once again, I know that this is his version 6. He's not fully done with it. Gray State script revision. So this is done after he died. I haven't read this one. We're checking it out. I don't care. Oh, okay. So this, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I thought it was something like brand new. I'm like, what? Okay, we'll bring this up. This, I believe, has got the skulls on it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is what they're concluded. Okay, the dog did that, did the head, majority of the head and neck, apart from the posterior. And this is once again, this is going to coroner's report. So just going off this, if we just go off that, okay, so the dog took care of it, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with even going over this. But like I said, I mean, there would be something left. There would be, and there, I feel like this is still a little off to some degree, but that's fine. Abscess of the right hand, posterior scalp is intact with patchy short brown hair. It's not what the police were stating. Fragments of skull and additional small bones are covered separately from the body at the scene, are described in separate section of internal evidence. Chest is symmetric, abdomen is flat, genitalia are those of an adult normal, blah, blah, blah. Nothing remarkable there. Left hand is initially sealed in an evidentiary paper bag. The upper arms and forearms are symmetric. Right hand is absent. Distal right forearm shows intact, smooth ends of the radius and ulna and irregularly contoured soft tissue. Muscle and skin. Left hand has intact digits and is partially mummified. Yikes. Fingernails are short and well maintained. Dried drips of red-brown blood-like material are on the dorsal left hand between the thumb and the first finger. The lower extremities are symmetric and intact. Toenails are long but well maintained. So we already know what this was. Tats. So he had 2 t-shirts on, it sounded like. Oh, long sleeve. So he's wearing a t-shirt and a long sleeve t-shirt. And he was wearing jeans. Well, we know what that definitely is right here. Let's see. Multiple fragments of bone and hair, maxilla with well-preserved natural teeth, showing no metallic restorations is present. Oh, here's the part of it. Fragments from the skull. Separate non-articulating maximum dimension skull bone fragment has a rounded defect along one edge with apparent internal beveling. Here we go. Unidentified origin or consistent with phalanges. Tufts of short brown hair, wavy hair is also present. On the left, bridal scalp, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Oh, it says there's a gunshot wound. Okay, so we got it. So that he was shot in the head. 9 inches above the left shoulder, so that would have been, yeah, it's like his temple. Underlying parietal skull, blah, 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 external beveling. So yeah, it looks like he was shot. Yeah, so they can see that he was shot directly through. Okay, so it shows he was shot, but it was above left shoulder. Okay, so he was shot left side, but he was right-handed. I mean, granted, he could have easily used his left. I get that. I mean, totally could, but. Yeah, and they don't have the exit side, or the, yeah, they don't have the entrance wound fully there, or the trajectory. And no projectile fragments are recovered from that one. Yeah, that's where it was. Like I said, that's directly what they had. That's exactly what you'd see at the crime scene, directly. So that's why I stated at the crime scene. That's directly how they found it. Was right there. Let's see. Let's see. Not really. I don't think any of this is going to matter right now. So there's mold in his liver. Okay. Well, that makes sense. There'd be no urine in there. That's the end of it, so, on his autopsy. Well, I know, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If he shot himself in the head, how did it get on the table? That makes no sense. And like I said, and I agree with you fully. If a cop moved it, it's the only way it would make any sense is up on the table. But that's how it was apparently found. Now, if you listen to, that's the part. Like I said, this is the part that makes it kind of leads towards that. Is the fact that when the neighbor who had found them, he had talked about how there was a gun near the child, which that makes sense if this is a murder-suicide. Okay, that does at that point. However, cop shows up on the, like I said, you have to go over the report and you'll see that cops say it was right there. So it was not on the ground. So who's lying, who's not? Do we take law enforcement or do we take witnesses? So there's that. All right, let's take a look. This one. So shot from left side, left to right, back to front. Weird. So he took 2 shots to her head. So I think she was still kind of, if he did it, how that would have went down is he would have shot her back of the head. She was still probably twitching or something like this, so he wanted to put her out of her misery, so he shot her in the side of the head. Which, that would make sense at that point if this really was that. Let's see. Left sleeve is frayed. Like I said, I mean, I get it. I get where this can kind of look this way. Okay, no brain tissues. The dog ate it. That's what they're stating. Makes sense. Okay, what muscles are of appropriate bulk for the descendant's age? Margins of the distal upper extremities are described above. Injury is described above. Where's the injury? It doesn't say anything about the injury. Injury just is described above. Huh. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it actually didn't show the injury. That's fine. Whatever, I guess. So it shot right side of the head. Okay, we'll take a look at this. Alright, Kluwer. Is that what it was? So it was going downward. Let me see, just make sure. This should be top. This should be like near the bottom, basically. Left postauricular scalp. I'm trying to look at any of this gross stuff here. Okay, so it came out like bottom of the ear. Okay. And that's all I did for... Oh. Still got more, okay. Let's see. Okay, that makes sense. Now there it is. The numerous short white hairs are adherent to the pants. Well, I showed a bunch of people last night. There was a picture of what looks to be a cat at the crime scene, which is also like, oh, wow. How did anybody miss that one? How to get in the house? That's a very good question, right? Let's see if I can find that one real quick, and I'll bring it up. It was near the tree. So, it was literally like sitting underneath the tree. Where was it? Where are you? Need the tree. Should be coming up any second now. Let me see. Okay, so I have to go to the regular crime scene photos. Great. Okay. Let me get to this. And you guys gotta see this. This is like what? There's a cat at the crime scene. At least appears to be that way. Okay, where the heck? I know I seen it. Okay, hang on. I'm just gonna go and grab it. A what? A munch? Oh, had a oh. I gotcha. I gotcha. Oopsie, is this my incognito tab? Yeah. Actually, I don't even need to show that, actually. What I can do, I remember, that's right, I do have it here. Where is it? Should be under cat. Where is cat? Here it is. Yeah. That's a damn cat. Oh, geez. Some really bad jokes, man. Just saying. Really bad jokes. But, you know, like you can see, there's a cat right there. So. I had to label that out for people. Because I was like, wait, there was white hairs there. Let me show you white hairs. So that could easily describe that. So why was there a cat in the house? So I have yet to go over this website yet. So, but yeah, this is saying that it was actually listed as a hate crime. And it was, wait, what? Access denied, wow. Yeah, I've yet to go over this on here. So I've gone over a little bit. Let's go take a look. Ugh, please don't. No. Okay, I'm not seeing what they wanted me to look at here. I mean, it could be a toy. It very well could be, but I mean, it didn't really look that way. It looked more like a cat that was kind of just chilling out underneath there. So what were they? Wait, what? I didn't click on that. Come on now. Who are these guys? American Far-Right Anti-Government. Okay, let's see. Group describes itself as a nonpartisan association of current, former military, police, and first responders who... Well, let's go read it. I'm curious. And first responders who pledge to fulfill the oath that all military and police take in order to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It encourages its members to not obey orders which they believe would violate the U.S. Constitution. That's fair. I wouldn't go and do anything like that. Absolutely not. I'm not going to listen to somebody say, no, go against the Constitution. Go after yourself, bro. Organization claims a membership of 35,000. This is 2016. Extremist or radical, of course they would. I haven't even heard of these guys before, so I'll have to take a look and see. I don't trust these guys, the SPLC. I don't trust them at all. They're usually very, very... I don't want to get into the political side of things, but yeah, they get a little bit... they call a lot of things racist, I'll put it that way. Or bad, if you will. So I don't like them personally. Even when things, like I said, they clearly are not. But they like to push that, so I'm like, I don't trust you. Okay, I'm not really seeing much here. Okay, well, whatever. Oathkeepers? No, I'm just going over his stuff right now. I mean, like, honestly, like, there's so much more on the crimes I'd like to go over, but it just... I'd literally have to go and, like, show the photos from that, and I don't feel comfortable doing that, especially because Twitch can get rid of me for, like, next to nothing. No, thank you. But I'm just looking at basically what this website here, which here I'll put this over here so you guys can follow if you choose to follow. They link over to this is LinkedIn, and it talks about, like, right over. Where was it? She was a dietitian. Where was it? Here it is. That's why I got to LinkedIn. Okay, let's see the photo she put up. What's in the background? Nothing else in the background. Okay. And here's her website. Oh, it's down, so can't see it. So, I mean, you can see is there anything here? Who knows? I haven't even gone over this whole thing yet, so. So, like I said, I have not even got over this yet. So, I found it, I started reading it, and then I had to get to work into the stream. So, but yeah, I mean, you can see all sorts of different things about this. So, I've never heard of these guys. And when was this posted? 2017. It's not supposed to be. One second. And there's some, like I said, there's parts of this case that just don't make any sense. Why would he put up Allahu Akbar if he hated Islam so much up on the wall? What, just to go and throw like a last strike at his wife? Why? She was converted. I mean, unless she was going back, but even then, I don't. Why? They were in love. They were together. You know, I mean, I don't see the big deal is there unless she was planning on leaving. But even then, no need to kill. But who knows? Like I said, yeah, and they showed this too. This is my favorite little thing about this. Stated the crime scene was contaminated, so they're unable to do a proper investigation. Well, why was it contaminated? Oh, contamination issues due with the family dog. So, yeah, no, there's parts about this that just like I said, this is already starting not to. Like, this is like kind of weird, like straight up weird. So, what's this? Interesting. Okay, well, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the problem with this case. Is just like how to make sense of this. I mean, yeah, the easiest thing for somebody to do on this is be like, well, okay, let's just go and just call this a double homicide and suicide because we can see there's gunshot wounds in the head, and it looks like there was two in the wife, and then there was one in the daughter and one in the in his head. So, I mean, I get it. It's easy to go and just kind of throw it that way, but once again, I mean, like I said, I would, before, like I would told everybody every single one of these streams is, before just going just to that conclusion, I highly suggest listening to his videos, listening to what he has to say, reading the information on it. It's just jump into it. So I can throw all this in there and just be like, boom, 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 boom. I mean, there's a lot to cover. I couldn't cover this all like in 3 streams. There's no way. But I mean, there's definitely some problems I have with this case. You know, not to mention what's really weird is his mom actually passed away not too long after, just slumped over in her chair on her porch or whatever, not too long after. And they have no idea why she died. So, but yeah, I'm actually going to call this a little early. I'm very disappointed in myself for not actually finishing that damn crime scene. So hopefully, and my goal here is hopefully I'll be able to get my drawing tablet up and running again. Hopefully my computer isn't slowed down and everything too drastically, and that I can actually go and just draw this instead. I mean, it'd just make my life a lot easier. But I'm actually hoping to actually get this thing scaled, so that way we can actually give the actual. Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. I want to get the actual like dimensions and everything of everything if I can. Like for instance, the actual length of the couch and everything. Because if you go off of what the initial drawings show, which was, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Where was it? I think it was actually here. If this loads up soon, we'll look at it. But actually, hang on. Oh, here's this too. You can always go to the Ugly Truth or uglytruth.info. Here, I'll go and post this. That way you can. Oh no, it's fine, dude. It's just like I said. I call. That's all I was getting at. I have tried to call a few times, so not a big deal. Not a big deal. But on here, I mean, you can get this. This is by his friend Sean Wright. And David even said the same thing here. If anything happens to me, I would never kill myself. But I believe he also goes over and says I would never kill my wife or kid either. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while. But let me see if I can find that. It's in here. Actually, I have a better idea. See if I can find it. See, this is the part that bothers me. All I did is I literally just put that on the, whatchamacallit, on the Photoshop, reduced opacity directly where it was at. Got the couch put together. Here's the size of it, blah, 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 blah. It was very crude, so I didn't actually go off the size of the couch, but if you look at my version and their version, it's quite a bit different. See? So, it could be, I don't know which one it is, so that's why I'm actually going to go get the actual details, get everything measured out myself, figure it out from there, so. Let me see if I can find anything else. I don't know where I put that. Is it here? No, it's still not loaded. There it is. There it is. Okay, here's the crime scene drawing. See what I mean? A little bit confusing looking. And like I said, not everything was detailed on mine quite yet, so. But like I said, bullet casings, bullet fragments. Seem a little strange. So you get this bullet fragment. I think it's, let's see, bullet fragment. Where was it? So you also got this one too, which is the bullet fragment that went up. That doesn't make any sense. Why was there a bullet fragment in the ceiling? It makes zero sense. Bullet fragment 31. So this could make sense potentially from his head. But once again, it went from left to right. So, but basically, it would sound like they alluded to. 30 is cartridge case. So, cartridge case, bullet fragment. How's it? That doesn't make any sense either. Why is there a? It doesn't make much sense. So. I said, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. No, it is. At first glance, it is, but it gets very confusing because you're basically having to pinpoint from down here. That's why I'm trying to make it so that way I can remove all this cluster here, and you can just look at it. You can see which way everything was pointing, all this. So, which way the splatter went. But like I said, it's also like using X's for bodies. That's I don't like it. I get why they did, but I don't like it. It doesn't do justice for what you're trying to go and find. Like if you're looking at this, it doesn't really do a whole lot, in my opinion. So yeah, this is taking forever. No, I'm not gonna wait for that. But, he had plenty of guns in the house anyways, so that wasn't the only gun. But the one that was in his gun safe was that. He had, quite a few other guns in the household. But they were, locked up in the basement and things like this. I think he had some in his office. I mean, this was like somebody breaking in. I mean, I would argue he's probably going to waste them pretty quickly. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be very wrong, but like I said, it just seems a little suspicious here. So I don't want to go and ruin what we've got going on with this. There were, but the thing is, they were all locked up in the basement, and everywhere else they were literally locked in their cases. So that's the thing. Yes. He also had all sorts of different things in his basement. He had military fatigues. I mean, there was, like I said, there's some clips of him that really they kind of ring, oh, there's something off. But at the same time, I get it. There's ways to kind of deal with things like that. With what he was kind of he had seen war, so I get it. But I don't necessarily think he had PTSD. He could have, but I don't think he did. That's my guess. Currently, there's no way to really tell at this point if he did. Even based on those videos, there was no way to really tell. Did he have PTSD? No, but he looked a little kind of strange. He looked a little peculiar in some of the videos. I would highly suggest if you get a chance to go on Netflix and watch A Gray State, check it out. I personally, it was informative enough that it got me I got one perspective of things. That's why I don't think it was a mystery assailant. I think if it was anybody, it was somebody they knew. Somebody was close to him. And that's the thing is, we don't necessarily know if it was just that gun. We don't know. Because if you go over all the evidence or anything, they don't necessarily clarify. Were they all from this gun? No. They don't. So I'm saying it's such a peculiar case. That's why I don't want to say most, but quite a few people have looked at this case and be like, nah, this cries foul play. Straight up. And I feel that way. I feel directly what this is. There's some foul play, and I think they did a pretty decent job of actually cleaning up the crime scene enough and things like this to make it and staging it out. But once again, at the same time, were they even, if that is the case, were they killed there or were they killed elsewhere? So that's also another good question. So he could have easily been killed somewhere else, and that could have happened. Because if you got to remember too, there's when it comes to like the bullet fragment and the bullet casing, that's the part that matters. We need to be able to go and determine these things. Where are they for each of their? And I believe they only found, like they found bullets. Like I said, they found one up in the ceiling. How did that get up there? You know, that one I can bring up. I'm actually going to go and just do that before we get off the phone or get off the stream. Let's see, where was it? Should be right at the top, I believe. If I'm being honest, oh yeah, this is who I'm viewing as. Oh crap! Did not want to do that. Okay, let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. That worked out beautifully. Uncle Danny. Yeah, that's his older brother, Daniel Crowley Jr. This is the guy that pulled $50,000 from his account from Wells Fargo, like not too long before. Got very, very suspicious. They had a falling out, him and his brother did. Don't know the exact details, but they had a bit of a falling out and things. So, like I said, there's a lot of things. Like I said, I couldn't just cover everything on the one episode. There's a lot going into this case. It's like, it's insane. That's why so I did send you a message on Facebook. I highly suggest look at this case if you can. If you want to go work on this, that's fine with me. And yeah, you can work with me, work opposite me. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. But this is something I've been working on for like the past like 2.5 weeks ish. So it's, but like I said, it's just there's a bunch of messed up crap in this. Let me bring up the next one. But so we're gonna look at the photo of. Where is it? And there's even things about his basement that didn't make any sense. He has like literally an Afghani flag down there. Once again, he served a tour there, so I get it. That could have been just like this is his area where he kind of just like, you know, kind of calms down and or whatever. I mean, I don't know what his deal is with that, but he was smoking weed and all this. So, and just I know I forgot to mention this. His house was also 68 degrees with the door open. So. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So, just to kind of show you where this bullet was. So you can see there's a bullet hole right there. Either way, it doesn't make any sense at all if he shot himself in the head for it to get up there. The way the autopsy goes off of him killing his wife and daughter wouldn't make any sense for that bullet to be up there. Like, at all. Yeah, I see it the same way. The flag's just a souvenir. It's a reminder of what he did. He was over there. He was a soldier. Okay, that's how I see it. So I think we're on the same page on that. House being 68 degrees. Mine, I think, is like, I don't know. Usually my temperature in my house, I've got the thermostats up to 80 because I love to be warm. I love to be very, very warm. So, but you can see it's just even like where this is at, like we're looking at, whoops, wrong one. You can just see just the angle of it. It's kind of weird. Bring up the next one. So you guys can actually see directly where it was, and we can see the angling. So I'll show this. So there we go. So this, you can see This is the general area. This is the light they're talking about. You can see the hole is literally right there. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. Tree was right here initially. How does this make any sense here? This is where the gun was left to. How does this make any sense? It makes zero sense. Why is there a gunshot up there? Or a bullet fragment and everything up there? It makes zero sense. Where's it going to ricochet off of? And even then, after it comes out, it's, hits something. Now it's already lost quite a bit of momentum there. It's not going to... I don't think so. I don't think it's going to get hard enough to go right through the ceiling and then get right up and like lodge itself like into the attic insulation. Man, I don't see it. Especially like basically hanging right on out. I don't see it at all. Even if they try to say, well, this is wood. It's not going to just, and get right up there. No. That doesn't make any sense. Even if we say, okay, well, the tree was here, so maybe it couldn't. No, that doesn't make any sense either. Once again, it's hitting those little twigs and branches. All this is still going to reduce it a little bit. Very, very little, but it's going to reduce. And even then, if that was going through there, we would have seen some of that down there. We would have seen some like clipping and stuff, and there was nothing. So, not to mention, we see, look at why is there so much like cleaning on the wall and stuff. Well, that's because there was probably residue, blood and all this kind of stuff up there too, and we didn't get this initially. Why is it this clean? That doesn't make any sense. It would have to be that there was blood. And if there's blood up here, well, that doesn't go along with what was going on with what we just saw. You don't see... Oh, okay. So, let me bring it in. It's right there. Should be able to see it. It's not... You're not going to see the hole initially like that. You're not going to, see in. You're not going to see a whole lot of the shading. You see barely any. Okay. So, let me bring the other one up again. Here, this will give you a better glance at it. So you can see right there, that's where it went in. It's directly where I was showing you. So it's, if you look at the angle of the damage and everything, the bullet came from kind of up high, it looked like. So in my opinion, this is where you see a slight struggle, in my opinion. If there was somebody in there, he fought back. Somebody fought back and probably hit the gun and one shot up. And once again, I don't think there's many of his friends that could have taken him just solo. I don't think so. There was a couple of them I was like, okay, maybe. But we're looking at for instance, so I'm going to name this the suspects here, okay? So once again, nobody seek them out, please. Danny Mason. He was the lead actor, or one of the lead actors in his Gray State movie. He's suspicious as hell. What's his motive? Well, he was getting kind of screwed out of the deal on the movie. If he was going to make any money, well, now he wants to make it free too. What the hell? He's getting mad. Actually, that's a potential for that. The brother, they had a big falling out. Don't know why else, other than they had this big falling out. I don't even know what they fell out over, so I can't give much more. There's suspicious activity when it came to Kamel's family. He set up a fund to go and help, which once again, I don't think he knew. Apparently his David's mother-in-law had ovarian cancer. Well, all of a sudden they have this falling out, and all of a sudden now he wants to go and help the help with that. Kamel's sister didn't even know anything about it until they were told by some other people, Dan Hennon and all that, and Greg Fernandez. They all got in their Facebook groups and all this. They were basically contacting them, letting them know, hey, this is what's going on here. And so she apparently talked to Daniel, and he shut it down. He got $8,000 out of it. It never went to the family at all. But it was a GoFundMe account, and it was all the money was literally going to him. And he was trying to get, I don't remember how much it was. It was I think 300,000 or 3 million or some outrageous number. And he got $8,000. So he was able to go and play on the pity to get some money. So he's a shady little guy. He's little. I'm gonna just be honest. He's little guy. But he, not to be all bit of a dick on that one, but you know, he's a little guy, and he he was able to go collect all his money on this family that he'd never really seen or talked to or any of this. So there was that. There's Sean Wright, who had claimed that David was outing him on the Gray State The Rise, which once again you can find if you guys are looking for the link. I'm sharing it now because I've already got it. I've got it. So I'm planning on making copies just in case anything happens. So if something happens like hacking my computer, hey buddy, I got a CD of this, a DVD of this, so piss off. I still got it. Come at me, bro. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, boom, I've got an idea. See if this works. Bam. Boom, I've got it right here, see? It's on my computer. As you can see, that is Gray State The Rise, but that basically goes over things from taxes, the police state type of build-up and all this. I mean, it goes over all of it. And you got people from ranging from Alex Jones, Mark Dice to Ron Paul, and I don't remember what this guy's name is, but basically he's like a gun instructor, like a really pretty badass guy. And yeah, he's in it too, and he's in it multiple times throughout it. But he's got all sorts of different people in it when they talk about kind of what's going on, and he even talks in it too. But yeah, Sean Wright basically claimed that he was basically outing him on the tax part, and I watched that part. There's nothing that is literally incriminating of anything in there. Just basically states the Federal Reserve sucks. Let's be honest. That's all it really does. It's oh, okay. That incriminates you. How? It doesn't. He's a fool. There's a lot of things going into that, but like I said, Daniel Mason and the brothers seem to have, at least Danny Mason has kind of I would say the biggest reason to do it. Hendricks, I think his last name is, he was a former business partner. They had some issues. Apparently there was a falling out, like a minor falling out or whatever with Camille's family. I mean, it wasn't anything huge, but once again, they didn't come back and seek retribution. So, we don't really know. He's got we got some suspects on the list. Is basically what we got. So, not a whole lot, but like I said, I'm not gonna. Well, you know what? Screw it. Whatever. We did find some connections recently. Some things that happened shortly after this family's murders, or the deaths rather. I should put it that way. We started seeing someone pop up as Freemasons. So does it mean anything? No, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. I'm not even alluding to things. It's just something I found interesting. All of a sudden you see another, like Danny Mason's a Freemason, and now you see he's doing all these other things. He's going all over the place, not doing all these big acting gigs, which prior to that he didn't have anything. So, I'll put it this way. This is the last thing we're doing, and I'm going to get going. Danny Mason, there it is. See if we can find his IMDb. Boom. And you see he's doing a lot of military stuff now. See, he had some stuff, but it was minor. See, it was really, really short things. And then you start seeing 2015 Clubhouse Division. You start seeing he's actually leading. You're starting to get into these bigger roles. Nothing too big, but still mostly short. But he's going all over the place. Let's take a look at this. What's this one? I've never even heard of this. So I mean, he's... I don't even know what this one is. That's the thing. He's had quite a bit more opportunities since he... since then. Now, does that mean this is the case? No. He's got all these other ones. He's got stunts, writer, producer, all this, but you see that basically, like, I mean, every few few years he'd have another gig, and then you see after, and he's got gigs pretty continuously. My opinion, I mean, like I said, I think this guy's got reason to do it. Now, does that mean he did it? I would say no. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But he's one of my suspects. I know the police talked to him very briefly, and once again, all these guys alluded to, oh, you know, he didn't have PTSD, but oh, he had PTSD. Essentially, it's kind of how that broke down. I was like, I read it. I'm reading these conversations. I'm sitting here just scratching my head, like, wait, you just say he doesn't have PTSD, but you're now alluding to him having PTSD. Well, that doesn't make sense to me. How can somebody not have it, but they're alluding to, oh, he probably has it? You know, to me, that's like it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. It's kind of like not necessarily double negative, but alluding that or saying he doesn't, like, outright, and then just like kind of alluding. It's kind of counterintuitive, kind of counterproductive there. Is that, to me, that just tells me you didn't know this guy. You know, you're assuming this because he allegedly had killed his wife and kid. I don't, that's the part, like I said, it's just, he was supposed to have been, yeah. I mean, he was, but the thing is, not to get this, all of these guys that I just named, besides the brother, had gotten at least some training from David or previous military. They all knew how to use guns. They knew their way around. Like, and the big thing that David was teaching was he was what was it, entry team leader or something like this. So he was an expert practically on entry teams, or on entry team kind of activity. How are you going to go and be entering the building? This is perfect for SWAT and things like this. Perfect for these actors. But that's what he was doing. He was teaching actors on how to look realistic. But with Danny Mason, like, I think they took that far beyond just that. I think he taught him everything he knew. You know, tried to make this look as realistic as possible. And I think Danny knew he needed to look that good on everything. And that's why you see him in all these military movies now. Before, you didn't see him in military movies. Coincidence? I think not. You know, but like I said, you see some really strange activity after the deaths. Not to mention, I believe it says memorial where they were supposed to be grieving everything. They weren't. All the friends and the brother were all like super smiley, happy. I believe this is at the house. It's like, what? Come on, guys. What the heck is this? So it's, you know, Daniel Crowley Jr. and Danny Mason are normally top of the list on people's suspect lists when they look at this. So, but I do have to call it a night. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Thank you, David, for popping in. I do appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow, I guess tonight. We're gonna be looking. Whoopsies. We're gonna be looking more at. I'm probably not gonna be hopping on the Gray State stuff tonight, but I'm gonna be looking at arson. Since we haven't looked at an arson case yet, I do want to look at something new for a little bit, at least for a little bit. And then either we're gonna go and we'll hop back in and kind of look at this some more. Hopefully, I'll have some more information and things like this by then. But if not, like I said, we'll probably go work arson case the entire time, or we'll work something else. We will be back on this case. I will be bringing it back to live stream, not next week, probably the weekend after. Next weekend, it's going to be basically, I'm going to be taking it a little bit easier. I am going to be airing live, but oh, okay, fair enough. You should get a Mugen, man. It's all on the computer, but it's just like, it's a fighting game. You know, and you can fight against AI and all this. I'm planning on doing some streaming on that here pretty soon. Yeah, I haven't played Splunky in a while, though. So, they got a new computer, so. But, all right, dude. Well, I'll catch you guys later, and I will see everyone hopefully tomorrow night. And you guys have a wonderful rest of